Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Argenis Ramirez and I'm going to talk about designing gaze interactions for game control that rely on closing the eyes. Here we present KryptonEyed, a game in which players take control over Wonder Eye, a superhero with the power to teleport. Players need to close their eyes and roll them with the eyelids closed to trigger teleportation and guide our superhero through different challenges. In the game, players need to attack the enemies by closing their eyes and performing eye movements behind the eyelids to predict their position. Monsters could be either static, move away looked at, or follow an orbital movement. However, players need to be careful. The air is filled with kryptonite and will make you lose all powers just by looking at it. By closing your eyes, players can make Wonder Eye rest and restore all her powers. The game ends when the crypto boss is defeated in a fast-paced battle. Our work with KryptonEyed contributes a new style of gaze interaction to the limited amount of actions we can do with our eyes for game control by leveraging what we can do with the eyes closed. This is very much in contrast with state-of-the-art gaze-enabled games that have their focus on designing techniques based on looking at the screen and adopting the interaction metaphor "what you look at is what you get." Gaze input is used to substitute other input devices and foster accessibility or, for game efficiency, for instance, the faster selection of targets the players look at. We propose that other creative, more challenging ways of adopting gaze are possible, introducing requiring to close the eyes to play the game. We designed a new gaze mechanic based on our ability to roll the eyes with closed eyelids, framing it as a superpower. The idea is to close your eyes and predict the position of targets behind the eyelids. So, with the eyes closed, players need to roll them towards the target and open the eyelids to trigger teleportation. You could try this from home if you look at our game character here on the left, close your eyes, and try to aim at the monster here on the right. You need to open them to make the character teleport. According to the results from 2 user studies, you were looking around this area when you open your eyes. The results could vary slightly depending on the direction of your eye movement, the distance that your eyes had to travel, or whether your target, like in the game, had any special motion features. You can find more information on the paper. The game integrates this technique in 3 different game examples that span in 3 levels. They increase in difficulty from an introduction to a more intensive and a final fast use of the mechanic. However, what is characteristic about the game design is the use of different metaphors that support closing the eyes or not looking as a game action. For example, to concentrate and control the power of teleportation, that allows the players to attack or jump. But also, it contextualizes that looking to use your superpowers is tiring, and closing your eyes is a way to get some rest. Although the action of not looking with a technology that relies on knowing exactly what players look at might seem anti-intuitive or of poor usability, it must not be seen as a drawback, but an opportunity to emphasize new game aesthetics that strengthen the use of gaze interaction in games beyond pointing. For instance, the use of gaze metaphors offer the possibility to project an action from the real world into the game space. Designers can leverage a wide range of actions we can do with our eyes closed. For example, as we close them, to think of places we want to go. As a reflex to protect ourselves, we close our eyes to remember something, to connect with other senses, to concentrate when training or meditating, or to use your superpower. Our work highlights the potential opportunity to map real-life actions into the game, and as such, it could contribute to a greater feeling of presence. As rather than jumping to the void, we stop, close our eyes, and breathe. We could even close our eyes to rest and recover, or to make the hours pass. To conclude, we want to leave you with the key takeaways of our work. First, there is more to gaze interaction than pointing at the game scene, and game designers should think about gaze behaviors that go beyond looking. Accordingly, we have shown a hands-free and eyes-only gaze mechanic for game control and identified a new design space for research inquiry, looking versus not looking. Lastly, we have discussed the potential of contextualizing and supporting the need to close the eyes for game interaction. This points out opportunities for future work to explore new metaphors that leverage what we can do with the eyes. Finally, we want to leave you with an invitation to think about gaze as more than looking, calling for future work as gaze-based interaction continues developing. Thank you.